My name is Randy Wooters. I am a consultant here at eXp Realty. I'm also a realtor. I'm also a team leader here in Florida. And I also was the US Growth Operations Manager for the last few years at eXp Corporate. Okay. I have a lot of experience dealing with team leaders, agents, broker owners, and helping people really achieve the most out of their business, get the most juice out of the squeeze, as they say. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through this, and I want people to ask questions in the chat box if it's during the session, or you can save your question for the end, because I do want a good chunk of Q&A, okay? I want the back and forth vibe that we're gonna have, okay? So, really quick before we start, and this is gonna be really cool. Everybody open up your chat box, and I want you to write city, state, or province that you're in, because that's really cool. I like to see, oh yeah, we're all over the place. Couple of things. One, you're gonna need a pad of paper. The second thing I wanna see is, if you have a camera, turn it on. All right, the last thing you're gonna need is an open mind and a desire to learn more. I know that's two things, but you get it. An open mind and a desire to learn more. Listen, if we're not growing, we are
dying.
Thank you. We're dying. If we're not growing, we're dying. Listen, I can learn from anybody on this call right now. If I gave you 10 minutes to teach us about something, I could learn from you. Okay? So I want the courtesy of saying, you know what? I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to build my business in a new way ever than I thought possible. Okay? I want it to be an authentic, engaged time for all of us. I'm putting in effort. You're putting in effort. It's a both and, not an either or. Okay? All right, cool. All right, so here we go. Let's get started. Business and life planning. Okay, now before we get started, there's a couple things you need to know about business planning and goal setting. Goal setting is worthless if, 5, you fail to reverse engineer the goal into actual action plans. If that doesn't happen, you just talked a lot and you wrote a lot of stuff down and you didn't do anything. Number 4, your goals aren't holistic in nature, which means they don't consider your actual life, which is why we're talking about business and life planning. Okay? You can make the greatest business plan in the world, but if it doesn't actually consider your life and the time that it takes to hang out with family and do all those things, then it's worthless. Number 3, your goals don't lead to fulfillment. If you're wildly successful but not fulfilled, have you really succeeded? Okay, and that's a question you're going to ask yourself as we go through this. Number 2, your goals are actually someone else's goals. Ooh, how many of you guys have ever been told what to do and what your goals should be? I have. Is it a lot easier to live up to somebody else's goals or my own? Am I going to be more passionate about my goals or somebody else's? Number 1, the most important is your why isn't big enough to push you to complete them. If your why, and we'll talk about the why in just a few minutes, but that's the problem most people have, is they start goal setting and business planning without knowing first why they're doing any of it. Okay? So all of this is going to be worthless today if those 5 things aren't figured out. Okay? So here we go. All right. We're going to lay, in fact, the first 20 to 30 minutes is going to be laying the foundation before we set the first goal. And I guarantee you this is probably going to be fundamentally different than most business planning life sessions that you've ever been to, because they start right off with how to do a goal and how to do an action plan and a SMART goal and all these cool acronyms and stuff. Here's the problem. They fail to consider your life, and they fail to set the foundation to make correct and appropriate goals for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these 4 categories. We're going to start with, where are you now? We're going to get a really good understanding of where am I now. Everybody is in a different place. Okay? And you can't set a goal for here if you don't know where you're starting. Okay? And you certainly can't reverse engineer something if you don't know where you're starting and where you're going. Okay? And I love the word reverse engineer, and that's what I help most of my clients with, is reverse engineer that bad boy all the way up. We're going to start with where are we now? So there's a first exercise. We're going to do it together. This is where your piece of paper is going to be handy, okay? Everybody take out your pen and your paper. I've got my, my nifty little marker here. I've got my blackboard behind me. We're going to draw a big circle, okay? We're going to draw a big circle. Hopefully you guys can see that circle. It needs to be a little bit brighter, but that's okay. And then we're going to divide it into 7 equal sections. The easiest way I learned how to do this is to start with a little peace sign. Okay, that's the easiest way, promise.
Hey, Randy,
Right? And then you're just going to divide this equally. Okay, would you believe me if I told you that was 7? It is 7. So this is going to be the 7 Fs. 7 Fs. I did not create this completely from scratch. There's life wheels out there. If you want to take a whole rabbit trail down YouTube videos for life wheels, love them. But combining the 7 Fs with the life wheel, I'm going to take credit for that part, okay? Just because that's what I've been doing and it works, okay? We're going to do this life wheel in just a second. But here's what's really cool. We're going to divide it into the parts of our lives that matter. Family, friends, fun. So give each one of these: family, friends, fun, finances, faith. Make your own. You got your piece of paper. Fitness. And last but not least, freedom. Freedom. And I've seen some life wheels that seem to forget the word freedom. And listen to me, I don't want to be in business for 30, 40 years and never achieve any freedom. Okay? I don't know about you, but it's extremely important to me. So what we're going to do is you're going to write your 7 Fs around your wheel. And now we're going to rank ourselves. We're taking stock of where we are. Okay? We're taking stock where we are. Let me back up. Okay? I want you to rank yourself from a 0 to a 10 on each one of the lines. And I'll do mine first just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay? So for family, where am I with family? And this is personal to me, obviously. I feel, and I include my wife into my family. Now this is going to be, I think, probably a 7. We're doing pretty good. Okay, ranking myself a 7 for family. For friends, I gotta be honest, I don't spend a whole lot of time with friends lately. Okay, and I'm not, if they're not calling me, I'm probably forgetting to call them. And that's not a good place to be in, but I'm going to be honest with myself and say about a 4. Okay? I give myself a 4. You guys probably can't see this too much unless you do a, kind of blow it up. Fun. Am I having fun? I actually do try to have a little fun. Finances. Doing pretty good. All right? Faith. That's going to be deeply personal to everybody on this call. Whatever your 0 through 10, whatever you think. The next one is fitness. I gotta be honest, I'm struggling in fitness. I'm giving myself a 2. And freedom. I really do wish I had a little bit more freedom. So I'm gonna give myself a 6. All right, once you've got your each area identified, 0 through 10, here's what you're gonna do. I want you to connect the dots. Connect the dots. Everybody's doing this, right? We're all learning together. We're going to connect the dots, and we're going to see what happens. Can everybody see my pink marker? If you get real kind of look in there. Long story short, it does not roll. It's a wagon wheel that would chunk along and probably break the wheel. Okay? And I'm just being really honest, but I have to ask myself some questions. Does your wheel roll? Is it perfectly round? Is it all the way to a 10 on every category? My guess is probably no. Okay. Now, again, this is stock in your own personal life. Remember, fulfillment is the goal, not necessarily success without fulfillment. If you are wildly successful and horribly overweight, or you have heart disease, or some sort of horrible other thing, does the success matter? This is a rhetorical question. You should know the answer, right? It doesn't matter if you're successful, but you have horrible health, okay? And so fitness, right? Fitness is going to be a major factor in this. If I look at my wheel right now, I can automatically tell the area that I need to focus on in 2022, okay? Is gonna be a lot to do with fitness. I need to put a regimen in place, and I need to get myself healthy, my blood pressure down, et cetera, whatever it is, okay? Because wildly successful without fulfillment is actually failure, okay? So does your wheel roll? Why or why not? What's missing and needs critical attention? And maybe family is at a 2 right now, and you need to spend a lot more time thinking about and being intentional about family time, okay? Even if your business suffers a little bit, that's okay, because at the end of the day, do we want to do this whole thing alone without a family, without the loved ones that we have, right? So again, life and business, they coincide. They meet in the middle, okay? So don't forget one just by planning an awesome business year, okay? So did you notice there's no category for business in the 7 Fs? We do have a category, however, for finance. The reason that we don't have a business one is because that contributes to our finances, okay? And we can do a lot of things in multiple businesses that all contribute to our finance. We could be an investor. We could have a passive rental portfolio. We could be doing, I don't know, recruiting. We could be doing listings and buy sides or whatever. Those are all part of your business ventures that have to be taken into account for when we're planning our life. We're planning our life, and ultimately our business should be planned around our life, not our life around our business. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. Plan your life first, plan your business around your life. Okay, a holistic approach here. I might be in jail with this one, but the idea is you can't just go out and crush it financially if everything else is suffering. Okay, all right, here we go. Before we start to lay out our business plan, we need to see clearly what our life plan is going to be. And that's the vision, okay? What is the vision for your life first, okay? Here's the absolute critical part of this, is that a lot of us go through life letting life happen to us. Now, I've been there. I was there for too many years. My life happened to me almost accidentally. Like, why do things happen to me? It's because I let them happen to me, right? So think through your life. Are you letting life happen to you, or are you chasing down a very clear vision with everything that you desire and hope for and long for? Are you going after those things, or are you just surprised when things happen? Okay, so I guarantee you, if you can't see it, you definitely won't achieve it. All right, so you see a little picture on the right-hand side here. This is my vision board template, and I actually have it linked for you. If you want the templates, I'll give everybody this slide deck. There it is. You can have a template. I use Trello. It works. My wife and I use it together, and we plan. So we're going to consider your whole life, not just your business. We're going to design your life goals first, and then design your business goals. You're going to brainstorm, mind map, whatever you like to do, your life first, and then create a vision board. I cannot overstate how critical it is to vision board your life. 2019 was a pivotal year for me, okay? Looking at November, actually, yes, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, November 2019, pivotal year. My wife and I decided to make a vision board after doing a Tony Robbins session. And we planned, the session ended at like 7 or 8 p.m. And we were up until 2 or 3 a.m. on this board, this exact board, planning out all of her goals, all of my goals, not just for business, but for life, right? And we created a vision board, which has then become a digital one, which we now do on Trello, okay? And she holds me accountable and I hold her accountable. And together we're headed towards the same visions, okay? You have to use some kind of visual representation for things to get really real for you, okay? Don't just write a sentence, find a picture. If you want to be traveling to Bali, find a picture of Bali, the perfect picture, and put it on there. If you want, to connect with your family, put a picture of your family. If you want to reconnect with your friends, put a picture of your closest friends. Make it very personal to you, okay? And then those things become real for you. And I'm not the name it, claim it type of a guy, but I am the name it, go after it, bust your ass and get it kind of guy, okay? That's how I operate now, where I see it, I can clearly envision myself doing it, and then I make I am statements, okay? I have a card. It's actually right on my wall right over here. This is a good exercise for you guys to do if you want to get a cue card, or what do you call it? A little note card, 3x5. On the front, you're going to write 3 I have or I am statements, okay? And they're going to go like this. In 1 year, I am or I have, I've already completed. I'm envisioning I'm done. I completed it already. And I'm going to write 3 things that are deeply meaningful to me. The top 3 things. And I'll give you a little example of what I wrote, and it's still on my wall right in front of me. The first one is, sorry, got a little goosebumps when I'm thinking about this. The first one is my kids feel like their dad is back. Okay, that's the first one. That's the most important to me. Number 2 is I'm healthier than I've ever been. Notice these are I am statements. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm visualizing myself 1 year from now. And number 3, I have financial freedom. I have financial freedom. Notice it doesn't say I'm rich. I'm super wealthy. No, I don't care about that. I care about financial freedom, okay? My kids feel like their dad is back. I am healthier than I've ever been, and I have financial freedom. And then on the back of that card, I wrote 3 statements. Knock, and the door will be open to you. Ask. Anybody know the end of that statement? What's the end of it? Ask, and you shall receive. Okay? What's the third part of this? Anybody know? Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be open to you. Yeah. And my 3 statements, I am statements, these are on my wall, right above my computer every day. Guys, if you're not making I am statements and I have statements, then you're not clearly visualizing yourself in the future, okay? You have to be purposeful about that. All right, I'm gonna click on this because I want you to see what this looks like, this vision board. And I want you to see that I have some examples in here and there's instructions down the left, okay? So the first one is make a copy of the board and it's yours. Delete my photos and crap. But again, 3 to 5 goals in every section of your life. Notice the 7 F's are right there. Family, friends, faith, finances, fitness, fun, freedom. I didn't finish them all out because it's just a template. I have mine completed, but I'm going to put pictures for things that are meaningful to me, okay? And then I'm going to add checklists. And I'll just put this one up just so you guys can see. I made a checklist for myself, okay? Feel free to steal whatever. I don't care. Make up your own. Here's the idea. And it does not have to be on Trello. This could be in a notebook. The idea is that you need to visualize and make a clear plan for the top 3 to 5 goals in every area of your life. Now, understand every area will collide with another area. It can't not collide, because your 24 hours in the day is your 24 hours. That's all you got. Okay. All right. Is this making sense so far? Okay. Now, the third major foundational piece before we get into goal setting is understand who you are. Okay, some people call this Briggs and Myers. You can do DISC, you can do whatever. I like 16personalities.com. Okay, I've done mine probably a dozen times and it always comes out to the same, no matter how much I try to change it. Okay, it says that I'm a ENTJ, which my personality is commander, whatever. Don't judge me. It's just what it says I am, okay? Do your own, understand yourself. What I like about this, if you can see the picture, it talks about strengths and weaknesses, romantic relationships, friendships, parenthood, career path, workplace habits, and it gives like a summary of you. Understanding yourself first, that's putting you so far ahead of the game. Some people just try to make goals, again, that are for the wrong person, the wrong personality type. Make things that are deep and meaningful to you based on your personality, based on who you are. Okay? I can't business plan for you because I have a different personality. Okay? All right. You all have different gifts, skills, talents, strengths, weaknesses. Find them, understand them, and exploit them. Exploit your strengths and weaknesses. Okay? If you have a weakness, does that mean you give up on that area of your life? No. What can we do instead? There's 3 things we can do. And these are the 3 words I live by in my business, by the way. And these are the 3 things I help my clients with all of the time. We're going to automate what we can using tech solutions to solve some of our weaknesses. We're going to delegate because it's just not our strong point. Okay? And we're going to just simply eliminate things that are stupid and you shouldn't be doing anyways. Automate, delegate, eliminate. Hard to do that until you take real inventory of what it is you're doing on a daily basis. What am I doing on a daily basis? And what can I automate as a tech solution? What can I delegate to somebody else that can honestly take a lot lower hourly wage to do it? Right? That's leverage. Or just get rid of it. If I'm spending 3 hours a day on Facebook, I'm sorry, you got to get rid of that. Okay? All right. All right, and last but not least, to set our foundation for goals, understanding your why. Okay. What do you believe in deeply? Again, this is going to be different for everybody, which is why everybody's business plan is going to be different, right? What do you want to be? What do you want your legacy to be? At the end of the day, when it's all said and done and you're gone, what are people going to remember you by? How are they going to talk about you? What's your reputation that you left? What's your legacy? The thing that was the most important to you? Money isn't it. Trust me. It's part of it in the sense that it can do some things for your why, but it's not the reason. Okay? So how do you want to get there? Remember that your life is actually the journey, not the destination. The life is the sum total of the minutes that got you there. So make sure your how is enjoyable in some regard. All right? Again, what makes me unique? Try to define as many traits as you can for yourself. What are my non-negotiables? I love this topic because this is where things really start to change for folks. When you are showing a house to a buyer, okay, you might even ask this question. What are some of your non-negotiables? What are the boxes you have to check, right? Oh, I've got all these kids. I got to have 4 bedrooms. Great. I got to have at least 2 baths. Great. I've got non-negotiables, right? I have to have an open floor plan, or I have to have a pool. It's non-negotiable. We spend so much time outside, we've got to have a pool. Great. Okay, take that idea and apply it to your life. What are the non-negotiables for you, right? Those are going to deal with your morals, your values, ethics, standards for living your best life. These are the things that, listen, if these things don't happen, I don't care about anything else. And if they don't happen this way, like sometimes the means don't justify the end, right? Otherwise, we'd all just go rob a bank, right? If we just wanted money, right? So what are the non-negotiables in your life? What are you not willing to flex on? What are the things that you absolutely have to have? And then go follow, when you're doing your business plan, you're going to follow those non-negotiables around. You're going to say, okay, this has to happen, okay? All right, now I'm going to give you an example of a why. And your why is going to be very individual to you, but it's the thing that will get you out of the bed. It's the thing that will pick you back up after a hard day of you just lost a deal, or maybe even two deals if you're, very prolific in a day, and you lost two deals, and that's a big chunk of income. Maybe you got fired from a client, maybe you got in a car accident, whatever it is, knowing your why to get you through the next day is going to become paramount to anything else we're doing. So for me and my why, 4 years ago, I was teaching high school, biology, chemistry, and physics. Did that for 12 years. But it got to the point now where I had 3 kids and another one on the way. My wife was pregnant, and she wasn't able to work. The last bit of her pregnancy was bed rest, and making $43,000 a year on welfare and Medicaid just to get by, renting a place, a small apartment that we had to double up in because not everybody could have their own room. We had one car that would only fit 5 of us, and there was a new one on the way. And I still had that car well into homeboy being like 6-8 months old, okay? So we had to decide who's going in the car that day because we only had the one car and it was consistently breaking down, pain in my butt. My why stemmed from that, but here's the problem. My oldest is 12 years old now. Back then he was 8-9 years old. Here's the deal. He's special needs. He's ADHD, he's autistic, he's ODD, oppositional defiance, and he had some major problems, but all we could afford was public school. Listen, I don't know if you've ever looked into specific schools for autistic kids, but my God, they're expensive. It was absolutely impossible for me. But when my kid starts coming home and I get calls from the teacher saying, your kid's drawing himself dead with blood all around him. And this is an 8-year-old. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about this because it hits hard to me because I'm like, this is the best I can give my 8-year-old kid who hates himself in his life. This can't be it. When I got into real estate, my why was so big, it didn't matter what mountain I had to knock over to get the money, get the income to get my kid into the right school. And he's in it now. He's been in it now for a few years. Here's the deal. That school is 10 grand a year. Impossible when you're on welfare and Medicaid. Impossible. He's now at a school where he goes out to play. I forgot to mention that he wouldn't even go outside because he was deathly afraid of different things. He goes outside, he plays. He's on a totally different trajectory of life. He no longer hates himself. He has friends for the first time. And all of that's possible because I got into real estate and did not let anything stop me. Nothing could get in my way. The how didn't even matter because the why was so strong. I was going to get that. I was going to achieve that no matter what happened. And from that moment, my income doubled every year for the next 4 years. Okay? We were able to buy a house, buy a couple of cars, pay off all of our debt, get my kid into school. This is not a story about, awesome Randy. This is a story about an awesome why. And the why can drive you to do things you never thought possible. Okay? Find your why, and it won't matter what the how is. We can figure out the how. We can get the skills, the knowledge. We can figure out the tech. As long as we know the why, we can drive through all of those situations. Okay? All right. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. Now we can start building a life and building a business on top of it. Because now we know some things about ourselves. And now we're designing our life, and we can put a solid business on top of a solid, well-defined, well-planned life. Okay? Is this good? Is this good stuff? All right, we're shifting now. We're making the shift. Guys, that story doesn't ever get easier when I tell it. I've told it a few times, but man, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to talk about. Okay, how will I do it and what will I do? That's what we're gonna dig into now. All right, so I've designed a few things for you guys, and I've also big borrowed and still stolen things from other really successful people that give it away for free. And I've compiled this all into one thing. Listen, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to make that wheel spin really fast. So here we go. We're gonna understand some of the math behind what we're doing. And I've given you guys all the same calculator. You guys all have a link to this. It's gonna be in the slide deck, okay? In fact, let me just go ahead and give this while I'm thinking about it. Let's give everybody this bad boy in the chat box. Okay, that's my slide deck. And then you can go into the income goal breakdown. Hopefully I didn't give you the edited version. Somebody tell me if you can edit. I don't want you to be able to edit. You need access? Okay. Tell you what, I'll do that at the end. I'll do it at the end. I'll give everybody a clean version that doesn't have access problems. All right, so let's take a look. We're looking at an income goal breakdown. Again, this is not new stuff, guys. And maybe some of you guys have already seen calculators like this. The idea is that we're gonna reverse engineer, okay? We're gonna set our income goal. Download the document. Okay, great. We're gonna set our income goals, and then we're gonna work backwards from there to figure out how many buy sides and list sides we need, okay? Now, if you're a team leader, we can do some specific things for you. I can't do them on this call because it would take some time, but we can break down your income goals and how to get there with team members. And some of you guys have already done some of that but this is really designed for a single agent. And then you can take it and expand from there, or we can set a time to talk about it. 250 is my goal for the next 12 months. Just throwing out a random number. It could be whatever you want. And this is actually really important. A lot of people skip this part of the step. How many days a week do I want to work? Does anybody on this call work less than 5 days? It's okay if you do. Actually, I would say that's awesome if you do. Anybody working? Put in the chat box if you're working 3 or 4 days a week, or 5 half days, or less than a 40-hour work week. Anybody? Cool. Any part-timers on here? Put on there, I'm a part-timer. I got a full-time job. I'm doing real estate on the side. All right, so we're gonna answer this question. 5 days a week, I'm gonna work 8 hours a day. That's a total of 40 hours. I wanna work 50 weeks out of the year, which means I get 2 weeks off. Put whatever you want. Put 48 weeks, whatever you want. All right? Which means I am going to design my business around some of these goals. All right, notice it says 85% of the time I'm working in versus on my business. And maybe this is a little bit bigger. If you're trying to build a team, 15% is not gonna get it. You're gonna have to work on your business a lot more than 15%, okay? You're gonna have to probably spend more like 20 to 30% of your time building your business, working on your business, okay? Versus working in your business. Everybody understand the difference between on and in? In is I'm showing homes, I'm going on presentations, listing presentations, I'm writing up contracts. Those are in business. On business is tools, systems, delegation, management of training somebody new, getting them up and going. That's working on, I'm building my business. Okay. All right. So 34 hours a week working in real estate, which means I will earn $20,833 per month to make $250,000. All right. I will earn $5,000 per week worked and some change. That means I need to earn $1,000 per day or $147 per hour. Okay. It is important to look at your hourly rate. Even if you are a commission-based person, you need to add up all the hours you worked divided by how much money you made that year. That's going to be important for later because of the word leverage. Deciding how much to pay somebody will be deciding on how much you are worth per hour. Okay. And we can talk about that more too. All right. So you would put your own GCI, whatever average is in your area. In my area, it's about $8,000 is average because of the price point of the home, because of, you know, what our commission split is per side. It's about 2.5 here. So about $8,000 is normal. Yours might be a lot higher. Maybe you're in New Jersey and yours is a lot higher. Okay. All right. That means I got to close 31 transactions. And I personally would like to do most of those with listings, but this could say 50-50, whatever. 50 here, 50 here. Now, what that's going to do is tell us how many listings we have to have and how many buy sides we need to get. Okay. Now we're going to go to the other side of this equation. Now, not 100% of listings sell, even in this market. Why is that? Right? There's some really crappy pictures out there. Maybe the foundation's cracked and nobody put it on disclosure. Whatever it is, not 100% will sell. So I'm going to stay safe and say 95% of listings sell, which means I actually need to get 23 listings, not 22. Okay. And for every client I get in front of, I'm going to get about 66 or 60% conversion. Okay. Not all of you guys are at 60%. Maybe you're at 70, maybe you're at 80, maybe you're at 20 because you're new to this. Okay. 60 is safe for me. I'm going to leave it there. Therefore, I have to go on 38 listing presentations. That means 3 per month, 0.8 per week. You get it, right? We're going to reduce to the ridiculous. Write those words down. Reduce to the ridiculous. That is a way to chunk down big things into small things and make them very bite-sized. They say that the best way to eat an elephant is 1 bite at a time. It's because you reduce it to the ridiculous. You make it seem very small and attainable. Okay. Now, we talked about wanting 9 buyer sides. I don't know if this is correct or not, but 80% written to close. How many of you guys are getting your accepted contracts actually to closing 80% of the time? Hopefully, yeah, I have big thumbs down from Matt. That's right. It's not happening. Let's go 70%. And guys, if you have to pop off, you will not hurt my feelings. This is all going to be recorded. Appreciate you. Okay. 70%, and that might even be, I don't know. We'll just leave it there for now. That means I have to actually sign 13 accepted offers. I got to get 13 just to close 9. Okay. We're getting the math around this. This will help us understand our goals. All right. My signed to written ratio. All right. So that means I must sign 38 new buyers. So we're talking about like your buyer's agreements. Some states don't even have them or don't encourage them. In Florida, we don't even use buyer agreements, which is crazy to me. Hopefully you guys do in your states. Okay. But as you see this going down, right? If you're making dials or if you're bumping into people, however you're getting your leads, you're going to have to find your conversion rates, plug them in, and decide how many buyers do I actually need to bump into before I can close 13 or get 13 written to close 9. Okay. And so we're going to reduce. All right. Do I have any cold callers on this? There's not a lot of existing cold callers nowadays. All right. whatever this is. Maybe it's dials, maybe it's squeeze pages, maybe it's realtor.com leads, maybe it's Zillow Flex, whatever you got. Figure out your conversion ratios and back them into this, okay? The idea though is, if you were a cold caller, this would apply to you. Okay. You must dial 12,005 people, 1,000 a month, 300 a week, 60 per day, 9 per hour. Okay? That's a lot of dials. But again, 9 per hour is actually not that much, because remember, hardly anybody answers their phone. Okay? Only a couple of people are actually going to answer the phone and turn into a conversation. All right, so we got to get 1.2 buyer appointments per week and 1 listing presentation per week. Okay? Is this making sense so far? So this is one way to get down to the ridiculous and figure out what is it going to take to actually hit $250,000 in sales. Okay? You can put whatever you want. Once I give you a copy of this, make a copy of your own and then jack it up. Do what you want to do. Add categories. It's all you. All right, now, how do we know we're doing the habits of a successful realtor every day? I borrowed this one from Workman Success. He gives it away for free, so I feel okay doing this. Okay, this is Workman Success. Gives it away. Go to his website. There's your plug, Mr. Verl Workman. Okay, now, daily habits tracker. I love this because a lot of realtors have a hard time figuring out, what the heck should I do today? Okay, what do I do today? If you're a team leader, you're probably chuckling to yourself, because a lot of your realtors are thinking the same thing. What the heck should I do today? Here we go. We're going to set your number of points. If you're a full-time realtor, you should have at least 61 points of rhythm. Okay, that means that your day is not over until you've accomplished 61 points. Now, if you're really gung-ho and you're going after it, maybe this is 100 points, maybe it's 75, whatever. If you're a part-time realtor, maybe it's half. The idea though is, and it's very simple, the idea is every activity has a certain number of points. Okay, and they have to equal 61 by the end of the day to call it a successful day in real estate. Is it okay to take a day off every now and then? Yes. Does that mean that you have to work hard the next day? Yes. Here's the idea, guys. Not every day is going to be the same activities, and that's okay. But as long as you're getting your points in for the day, you have been successful. Now, one thing I want to point out, notice closing is only 15 points. You don't have to raise your hand on this, but how many of you guys have a closing and you're saying, done for the day, lunch and drinks with my boys or my girls, right? Listen, I've been there. My first transaction, you didn't see me the rest of the week, okay? I called it a week. Here's the deal. It's only 15 points. You got to get back to work. You got to get back to work. Just because you had a closing that morning doesn't mean you're done for the day. Get back to work, all right? Talk to more buyers. Write some handwritten notes. Show 2 homes to 1 client. Right? Get out there. I love the 1 MT, 1 MT. That's one more thing, one more time. How many of you guys have been this close to giving up on a client, but you just sent one more text and you got them, or one more email, or you showed one more home, right? Just one. You don't, some of you guys don't know how close you are to a deal because you won't do the one more thing one more time. Okay? So I love that one. And then this is actually probably my favorite part right here. I know for a fact most realtors do not role play. And I know this because I talk to a lot of realtors and they will say that they should and then they don't. It's the same as like, guys don't like cardio. Trust me, we don't want to do it. You have to role play. You have to role play. Now, if you spend 30 minutes going over your scripts for everybody that you're about to talk to that day, maybe it's first-time home buyers. Okay, I'm gonna put myself in realtor mode and I'm gonna read through the scripts to talk to first-time home buyers. Here's all the things that I need to know. Here's all the objection handlers I need to know so that when I have that conversation, I am locked, loaded, one's in the chamber, I'm ready to go. Okay? If you don't role play, You're missing opportunities that you don't even know you're missing. Okay, and it could be with yourself on your voice recorder. If you're about to make dials, you can record yourself and then make improvements. If you need a buddy, you need somebody to hold you accountable and role play together. Find somebody. Do it once or twice a week, but role play is huge. And notice you get 10 points per hour. That's pretty good. Okay. That's Daily Success Habits Tracker. That's a free one. There you go. Everybody gets that. Now we're going to set some goals. Now we can't just set regular goals. A lot of people don't even know how to goal set because they're throwing out these really arbitrary things. Listen, they have to be SMART goals. I've used this so many years. SMART means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. Okay? You have to be specific about your goal. How will you measure success? Listen, if you're not measuring your success on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, it's easy to get off track. It's easy to look back and say, where did I even start? You know, what am I even doing? Attainable. I love to talk about the word attainable because if you have a growth mindset, everything is attainable. It's just how long from now is it attainable? And how many skills, knowledge, tools do I need? Okay. Again, back to the why. If your why is strong enough, the attainable honestly doesn't matter because you'll figure it out. With the invention of Google and YouTube, trust me, you can figure this out, whatever it is. If you need more scripts, go find them. They're out there. If you need to talk to FISBOs today, find 10 scripts on FISBOs, how to talk to them. Watch YouTube videos of people doing live cold calling, whatever it is. You can gain the skills, gain the knowledge, and gain the tools. Equip yourself to make everything attainable. All right. The next one is relevant. Why is this goal important to you? Don't just do random goals. Do goals that are going to be on purpose and heading towards the right direction. My analogy for this is when you start climbing a ladder and realize when you got to the top that you put it on the wrong wall. Okay? Because it was an irrelevant goal. Okay? Make sure your ladder is on the right wall and you're climbing it. Time bound. When will I complete the goal? What benchmarks do I need to set up if it's a long-term goal? Okay? Don't set yourself a 3-year goal without benchmarks along the way. That's like saying, I'm just going to eat the whole elephant in one bite. You've got to benchmark this thing into small, chunked goals, okay? So if you got a 3-year goal, make 20 small goals to get there, okay? Phase it out. Don't just make it one huge goal, I'll get there someday. That's not realistic. Small goals along the way will get you there. We're going to reverse engineer that thing. All right, I have a nice bigger picture of this. Guys, if you're in goal setting mode on, quite frequently, let's say you're working with other people, team members or whatever, I would go ahead and print a copy of this type of a thing, put it on your wall somewhere in your office, because it's easy to forget how to make goals, even small goals. These will make the goals so much more palatable and applicable in your life if you make them SMART goals, okay? All right, let's talk about that 24-hour day everybody has. Time blocking is huge. Reading assignments, here you go, ready? Atomic Habits by James Clear. I saw a little smirk. Morgan, you get it? There's a few of you guys out there. Atomic Habits. If you have not read that book, read it. That's your reading assignment. Listen, we all have the same 24 hours. We've got to figure out a way to get this into a manageable time block each day. Now, I made this time blocking template. This is to help you understand priorities. You can't work 20 hours a day. Maybe once every blue moon, but it cannot be sustainable. You can't do it. So what we're going to do is you're going to break down the things that are important to you in a percentage model. which then translates into hours per day, hours per week, per month, per year. Okay? Now, there's some non-negotiables here. It's the way we were designed. God made us this way. We have to sleep. Now, some of you sleep 6 hours, some of you sleep 10 hours. Don't recommend sleeping 10 hours on a regular basis. It's great every now and then when you're sick. All right, figure out what works best for you and wake up when you should wake up. Okay, I don't want to tell you what time that is. Some people are more productive in the morning. Some people are night owls and your brain works better at night. I would recommend stay up then. Don't reverse your own clock. Again, know how you work best. I'm miserable in the morning. I'm miserable before 7 a.m. Okay, but I'm great all the way until about 2 a.m. My brain is going. All right, so my time block looks different, but that's why the percentage works. Percentages, I say, okay, sleep, let's call it 7.5 hours. It's 31% of your life you're sleeping. Okay, hygiene, self-care, hopefully you have those. Listen, you do you, boo, okay? Eating, you got to eat, it takes time. Hopefully working out is part of your routine. It's got to be something, fitness, health, something. Family, spouse, career, personal growth, driving. I made that its own category. How many of you guys spend half your life driving? You're realtors. Block the time for driving. Here's one of the coolest things I heard, and I love this. There's a really good big realtor out of, I think she's out of Texas. And she was able to leverage her time because she realized how much time she was spending in the car. She hired a driver so that she could have her laptop out, cranking through emails and contracts and whatever while driving. Guys, I'm not sure if you drive that much, but obviously she's very successful. She drove so much that she hired a driver. Whatever it takes, right? If you can eliminate that whole category, great. I don't drive that much. You guys might drive a lot more than this. Okay, I'm only putting 1 hour a day. Maybe yours is like 5. And don't put answering emails and driving in the same category because you shouldn't be answering emails while driving. Okay. Figure yours out. And notice that's Monday through Friday. Saturday, Sunday is its own time block. Percentage-based time blocking works very well to prioritize your life. If you told me your goals, I will say, show me your calendar. Because your calendar needs to sync up with your goals. If you're saying family is important and you have 1 hour a week dedicated to family, it's not important to you. Okay? Show me your calendar and I'll tell you what your priorities are. Okay? Now, once you have the percentages, which then tells you how much per day, per week, per month, yada, yada, now I highly suggest go through and time block your week as much as you can. Put blocks on your calendar for undivided attention, non-distracted work times. Okay? We live in a society and in a world that we're getting push notification, email, ding, pop, zing, whatever. It's distracting as hell. And we can't be focused when all those things are going on. So get yourself into a routine where you have some undivided work time. If you want another reading assignment, Deep Work by Cal Newport. Phenomenal. It's becoming so rare to get deep into your work that you will set yourself apart by doing it. Okay? All right. Any questions on, I know this, I really just kind of truncated this. I could teach an entire hour just on time blocking, but just to save time for now, I'm giving you guys the template. It says, here's the template for you. Work it out, figure out your time, and use a calendar. Add your spouse to it, your partner to it, whatever.
Hey there, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
You probably already said this, but is this being recorded?
Yes.
Okay, good, because it's so good that I know it's going to take me 2 or 3 times to really take it in.
And that's okay. Yes, it is being recorded. I'm going to add this to my YouTube channel and some other stuff.
Thank you. I'm so
Absolutely.
excited about this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Put all of your emails in the chat. Jay, can you just highlight the whole thing and just grab them all? Okay, perfect. Everybody say thanks, Jay. All right. Okay. Now, I love this one. Oh, this is so good. Anybody know a guy named John Sy out of Canada? If you don't, look him up on Instagram. The guy's a beast, absolute beast. Love having conversations with that guy. So his organization is called 2 Comma Real Estate. I don't know if you guys get that. 2 commas, meaning $1 million, right? The guy sells a ton of real estate. He and we kind of agree on this, that whatever you do, you need to have it as a 1-pager at the end of the day, okay? A 1-pager, and he does this 1 page per month. So my goals for this month are, and you print it out, put it next to your computer, look at it all day, every day. That'll keep you on mission, on track. So we just talked about the income goal breakdown, right? We talked about how, let's say we want to have 31 deals in the year. And okay, that means I need to have this many buyers consultations and this many listing presentations per week. I need to have 3 listing presentations or 4 listing presentations per month. That needs to be on my month goals. It means I need to get it in front of enough people to close or get that many listing agreements. So that will go on your 1-pager. Now listen, that template is also on here for you to have. I've asked John, he said it's cool. He shares this, it's public. And so I'm able to give this to you. Now, again, beg, borrow, steal from great people who have great minds that are highly successful. This guy, if you saw what he has done, you would copy exactly what he has done, okay? If you want to sell a lot of real estate, maybe that's not your goal, and that's fine too. All right, so that's there. I don't want to go through the whole thing just because it's kind of self-explanatory. Figure it out, plug and play. All right, now, we're coming up on Q&A. We're keeping this kind of short. I want to make sure you guys are all with me on this. Tips, tricks, bonus materials. Okay. Number 1, I don't care what brokerage you're at, squeeze the most out of them. They exist for you, not the other way around. Can I get an amen? Anybody? Squeeze the most out of them. What does that mean? That means learn the tech. Use the tools. Go to the classes. You got some classes that are being taught by mega agents out there. Go, attend, learn, squeeze the juice out of the brokerage. Exploit the model, whatever it is. Get the most out of it. If they have 4 parts to their brokerage, dip into all 4 parts. Get it. Get all of it. They exist for you, okay? I don't want to spend this time going too deep into one brokerage or another, but you get what I'm saying. Get it all. Don't just take one little piece of the brokerage. Okay, number 2, get the right tech for yourself. If your brokerage has it, use it. If they don't, go get it, okay? Again, it has to work with you and your business, not the other way around. Don't model your business after what's there. Design your business and then get the right tech for you. Okay? This will save you so much headache and time later. Number 3, it really comes down to start reading. Start reading. And I actually, in my time blocking, have sections, sectioned off time for personal development. Start reading, guys. Listen, here's my tip on reading. And if you get this, your whole life will change. Imagine I pour 20 years of my life's work on topic and on mission into one book. And I spend everything I've got to put into this book, and I lay it all out there for you. And all you've got to do is spend a week reading it. That's like downloading everything from that person's 20-year career into 1 week. If you did that for 52 weeks out of the year and downloaded 52 people's careers and life's work, Are you going to grow from that? Absolutely. I have read, I think I'm close to about 60 books this year in different categories: emotional intelligence, productivity, habits, fitness, all kinds, 4-hour work week, right? All these different books. I'm soaking them in because I'm taking somebody's life work and downloading it into my life. Start reading. Optimize your personal growth, skills, and knowledge. Grow up. Let's do it. Learn. Okay. Sorry. Number 4. You're not a realtor. You're a lead generator. Listen, the lifeblood of your business is leads. And leads are what? People. So really what we're doing is we're building relationships over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? So what's the definition of a realtor? A relationship builder. As fast and as much as possible. You do that, you will be successful. Period. End of sentence. Number 5. The fortune is in the follow-up. Guys, I didn't make this up. Everybody knows this. You don't just talk to a lead once. You've got to put a follow-up plan in place. And this goes back to the right tech. You can utilize some tech to help you with that follow-up. Do not run your business from your phone. Contacts. Use a CRM. Get used to it. Love it. Learn it. All right. And last but certainly not least, you can't grow or scale what you don't track. Let me say that again. You can't grow or scale what you don't track. If you don't know how many contacts you're making on a day-to-day basis, if you don't know what the conversion ratio on those are, there's absolutely no way you can predict and grow and scale your business. Okay? I sound like I'm preaching here, but man, this is good. This is good. Listen, you can't scale what you don't track. So that you need to start tracking. Utilize the daily success tracker. Utilize your own spreadsheet. Utilize a pen and a piece of paper, whatever it takes for you. You've got to track. Okay? And if you're into building a team, which means you have to recruit, you need to track your recruiting efforts too. Track, track, track. If you are talking business to business, let's say you're talking to lenders, title, insurance, inspectors, track those conversations, put them into a CRM too. Don't let that happen haphazardly. Okay? Did you know that you can sell all the real estate you want to sell to other business owners? You don't even have to go beyond the business owners because they all own properties or want to invest. If you could build an entire business in real estate around other vendors. How cool is that? Track those conversations, track those relationships. That's how your dentist knows every 6 months what's going on with your child because they wrote it down in a CRM and they're tracking. Okay, and then you get to the dentist chair 6 months later. Hey, how's your kid doing in soccer? How do you know my life? Because they have a CRM. They're tracking. Okay. All right, guys. Whew. That's a lot of stuff. That was a lot of stuff. Let's go ahead and open up mics. Let's talk through some of the Q&A that you guys have. Thanks, Kat. Absolutely. Let's talk through. I want to hear some different things, and I can go back to other slides if you want me to. We can dig into whatever you guys want to, but let's go ahead and open it up now for some Q&A.
I have a question specifically for you based on, you said you work best at night, and I do too. And I feel like every business model that I look at, they always tell me to adjust like my schedule, with the exception of like Carrie. She was really good about telling me to go. But I feel like most of the time, and this is, and maybe I just need a different perspective on this, is I look at it and it's usually men, and they usually don't have the parenting role that I have, like the same single mom type situation. And so it's really frustrating. They're like, yeah, all you have to do is wake up at 5 a.m. And I'm like, 5 a.m.? that's my REM sleep. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm just curious as to when, and that's no way. Like, no one wants me awake before 5 a.m. So I'm just curious as to how you found that to fit like your rhythm a little bit better.
Absolutely. Great question. And I'll answer. And then if anybody else wants to tack on what they think as well, I'd love that. So for me and my personality and my cycle, I'm most productive from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's when I work on my business primarily. That's when I get my good ideas. I work on my business. I create PowerPoints. I create all kinds of stuff from that time block. Now, some might say, well, that's a horrible time to talk to like buyers and sellers. But guess what? Do you know how many buyers and sellers wish there was a realtor awake at 2 a.m.? That's your niche. You just found your whole business.
I've done like a lot of research behind it. There's it's like trying to reset your clock. And there's this podcast I listen to, and she talks about like, you just don't, because there's night owls and there's the larks, I think is the way they describe it. Right. And she was just like, be with the people that want to be in the same time cycle as you. And so, maybe I do just need to pick up the Toyota people that are getting off third shift. So there's my niche.
I will say it's a little tough to show a house at 2 a.m., but you can definitely have a conversation with your buyers and sellers. If they're awake, here's one of the coolest things about using a CRM is usually you can tell when they hit the CRM. If it's 2 a.m., pick up the phone and call them if you're awake. Now, I would not recommend that to everybody. I think you should set boundaries, but if that's your work time, go for it. That means they're on too. They're looking. They might be really surprised that you're even calling them, and that might be enough to lock them up as a client. Okay? And somebody, maybe it was Matt. I don't know if Matt's still on the call, but somebody had a story just like that somebody happened to be on really late and they called them and they got them as a client purely based on that. The fact that, oh my God, somebody actually called me at 2 a.m. Listen, do what works best for you. Play around with it. Okay, anybody else have anything to add to that? There's a lot of successful people on this call, so feel free to add.
I think it doesn't matter when you work as long as you actually have some consistency around your own schedule. So I think, Randy, you and I have talked about this. Consistency over intensity is going to win the game all day long. So don't worry about how many hours you're working. Just make sure that you do something every single day. There is a law of the fact that a body in motion stays in motion, and it's much easier to keep a body in motion than it is to keep starting it. And so you need to get the momentum going. And the only way you get momentum going that's going to continue to carry you is by creating consistency. So people just need to not worry so much about what time and how often, or not how often, how long. They should be worrying about, is there something that I can commit to every single day at whatever time it is? And for those of you that are part-time, and Tammy just mentioned this, many people started in this industry part-time, including myself 23 years ago. And the reality is, again, if we subscribe to the idea that it's intensity, that it's consistency over intensity, it doesn't matter that you have another job. But you have to commit to something that's going to work in your own schedule, in your own strengths, that you can do every single day, even if it only takes you 15 minutes. Look, we can all Facebook message somebody at whatever time of day or night it is, right? We can all, create a video that we can send out the next day. We can all do something. We can all make a phone call to a member of our sphere driving back to and from work every day. Right? Like there's just no excuses that we can't find something to do every single day. And I promise you, if you do something every day, even just one phone call, you'll have more results than if you would just do something once a week, even if you did it for 2 hours a week. And I have too many years of experience coaching people to tell you that that's absolutely the truth. But think of it in fitness or in anything like that. It's always, and we talked about this in our mastermind, Randy, it's always slowly, 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 and then suddenly. It's always that way. We gain weight that way. We lose weight that way. We also gain momentum in our real estate business that way, or lose momentum in our real estate business that way. And it's all just these little tiny things over time. Time on task over time is what gets you the end result. We just think we have to go all in because we're overachievers and we think we've got to do things so grandiose to make an impact. And that's actually the most self-sabotaging behavior we can have because it's not realistic. We're not going to go from 0 to 100 and sustain it. That's not how habit stacking actually works.
Love that. Love that. And guys, that's from a top coach. Thank you, Carrie, for being on the call. You guys, if you want to reach out to her, she's in EXP Family Tree. If you're not in that workplace group, join that, reach out to her. But Jay, go ahead.
Seconds. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that even more. Because what Carrie said was like, if you think like you overthink things and you try to like, oh, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to do all these I'm going to call all these people today. And they were like, what you were saying is basically you're setting yourself up for failure because you're going to overthink it and you're not going to do it instead of just sitting small tasks and getting like, hey, I'm going to call these 5 people in my sphere and I'm going to get it done. Another example, for instance, is like for me, and I work out every single day, and I do it. I do push-ups and sit-ups. All I know is that it doesn't matter how great my workout is, I have to at least do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every single day. And even if I don't want to do it, I still have to do it. And it doesn't matter if the workout's good or not good. It's that I didn't let my mind win that day to stop me from doing it. Also, when we go into like reading books and studying, you got to understand that maybe the reading or whatever book it is isn't directly related to real estate. It doesn't matter. One, because you say you're going to do something, you do it. Say, for instance, for me, every day I wake up, I have to read 10 pages in any single book every single day, or it doesn't matter what book it is. So there's 2 things that you're going to get there. One, you're gonna build self-confidence because you held the promise to yourself to do that action. And 1, obviously you're going to gain knowledge is 2, but 3 is like, you have to understand that there's a lot of things that you are going to do to hold promises to yourself and improve your business that aren't going to directly bring you business right now, but the byproduct is a successful business. So you think these things don't matter now, but they do. They're going to set yourself up for success. So don't overthink things, small little things, set goals. Don't try to, eat the whole pizza in one single day. Plan it out, figure it out, and hold yourself accountable or get an accountability partner and just do the task so you can build self-confidence. And in my opinion, the only way to really build self-confidence is to keep the promises to yourself. So
I love that, Jay. And for those that don't know this, Jay's also a fantastic realtor, coach, mentor, trainer. We're like super blessed today. We have tons of great people on this call.
Jay, have you done 75 hard? Or are you doing that right now?
no, I'm not. I have heard of it, but
well,
no,
you're already doing much of it. So in
Yeah.
case you want to look into it, but what you just said, and my husband and I have done that together and it's transformational. But the whole point is that hard, his philosophy, what you just brought up, Jay, is hard equals happy. And hard doesn't mean doing grandiose things. Hard
Right.
means winning your mind. Hard means, not letting you give into your mind when your mind you wake up and it says, you don't need to do those push-ups today because you're just a little tired. You're a little sore from yesterday. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal because your mind wants to keep you safe and feeling comfortable. And that's what the egoic part of our mind does. And every single day that you win that battle, you become stronger. But what it does is it actually makes you happier. And the reason it makes you happier is what Jay said, which is because you have self-trust. You have self-confidence and you actually learn to love yourself more, believe it or not, because you trust yourself and you prove to yourself that you will show up and do what it takes. And the people that get into a spiral where they put a bunch of things on their calendar or set a bunch of goals that they actually won't do, it's actually doing the opposite, which is I don't do what I say I'm going to do. I don't show up for myself. Then I don't have self-trust. Then I don't have self-esteem, self-confidence. I don't love myself. And then I'm going to self-sabotage because I don't believe I deserve it. But you can turn that wheel moving in the other direction extremely easily by a very, very, very small change, like a 10-minute walk in the morning that you do every single day that will ultimately lead to more and better. And by the way, what Randy said at the beginning is, that everything in your life leaks into your business and vice versa. There is zero compartmentalization of those things. I tried for 10 years. Trust me, it does not work. So if you feel better about yourself because you go for a walk every morning, do you think that shows up in your business? Absolutely, it does. Do you think that when you win your mind in the morning or whatever in the day that you do something consistently, even when you don't want to, that doesn't show up in your lead generation or create more mental fitness and toughness for business? Of course it does. So these are the reasons why Randy, who is an awesome coach and an awesome leader, is saying, do not just business plan, life plan and business plan together, because they can't be separate anyway. And these things do leak into each other, whether we like it or not.
Definitely. And I couldn't agree with that more. And also the fact is people are like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it. I just want you to understand, a majority of people is discipline is freedom. The more the disciplined you are, the more freedom you're going to gain in the day and in your life, because you're setting yourself up for success. So don't think of it as a burden. Think of it as freedom.
You guys didn't even know you're getting a whole mastermind on this thing. This is awesome. Good stuff. Anybody else? Actually, could I take a second and talk about the part-time agent for a minute? Do not let yourself be limited by the idea of being part-time. I started out as a part-time agent, okay? I was still teaching, and I was working at church and selling real estate, literally 3 jobs, and coaching. I forgot about that. I was coaching, teaching, working at church, and selling real estate. I never told a single person I was a part-timer, because I was not. I did not have the part-time mentality. I would still go work 30, 40 hours in real estate, even after my 40-hour job. That's not part-time, guys, right? So when you're thinking about part-time, think about modified schedule, but not part-time. You might have to start showings at after 5:30. You might have to work weekends, but guess what? Most people work and they're available in the evenings anyways, or on the weekends. So play to those strengths that you have, and don't look anybody in the eye and say, I'm a part-time real estate agent, because it sets a mental image that you don't want them to have, that you're not going to be attentive to their needs. You are, okay? You just have a different schedule. Hopefully that helps.
That does help, but also think about it, like, what does part-time agent mean? Nothing. You're working during the week. Maybe you have another business, but then you're working all weekend, showing houses or doing whatever, going on appointments. What defines a part-time agent? Is it just because you have another job? You're probably still putting the same, if you're really working hard, you're probably still putting the same hours in as you are possibly at your full-time job or other part-time job. So just don't use that as a mental or holding you back or saying you're not as good as other agents out there. So just make, like Randy was saying, make sure you frame it properly. But in the grand scheme of things, what is a part-time agent? You're always on, you're answering your phone, you're answering emails when you get home. So I wouldn't even think twice about that.
Awesome. Really quick, do I have any, I know I've got a couple, but do I have any team leaders on this call right now? People that actually run others in their call or in their business, I mean. So I know.
Yeah, Morgan, I know that there's Morgan, I know Chris and Julie and Stan who are on here do.
Awesome. So when it comes to helping your individual agents goal set and plan, they should be following the leader who also has done those things. Okay, set the example that you want to see in your team members first. Okay, and I know some of you guys are already doing that. You're great at that, but then try to download all of your knowledge into them. Create successful team members that can then go out and fly. Okay, don't point your finger and say, go do this, unless you yourself have done it. Okay, and I know that none of you guys will do that. I'm just reminding that as a leader, be the one who is pulling everybody with you. You're going in the same direction, or you're alongside of them. Okay, think through that. Cool. All right, guys, we are coming up on, we have 4 minutes remaining. Time for one good question.
The only thing I was thinking, Randy, and this doesn't have to be sharing anything specific, but maybe in general terms, when we were looking at the chat, almost everybody said they were with eXp Realty or partnering with. We probably don't have as many guests, or maybe those didn't share, and that's okay, of course, if they're not. But one thing that I think is really, really important for those that do happen to be part of this company, and I know you talk about it all the time, you and I are on calls every single week talking to people about this, is it's extremely important to make sure that we have business plans around our business, because that's where our daily, weekly, monthly revenue to pay our bills comes from. At some point, though, we also have to know that there's an opportunity for us to, continue to grow other forms of wealth, whether that be through investment properties, of course, stock. And if you happen to be here at eXp, you do have an opportunity through revenue share, which is a business building model, and it does allow for an actual business plan. So if anybody wants to go over more of a business plan in regards to that, maybe Randy, that would be something that we could also offer together. I know you and I are going to do some things, because again, if we don't have a plan around it, if we just say we want to do it, but we don't actually have a plan, it's not going to come to fruition. But if we write it down and we know exactly what needs to happen over the course of the next 3 years or 5 years or 2 years or whatever our goal is, now we know, we can visualize it, we can see it. It's very, very probable that many people can replace their income with this model if we really do, make it part of our business plan. So I don't know if you have any just
100%.
random thoughts on that. One thing that you taught me is it doesn't take much. A couple of people that you may, share this awesome opportunity with over a course of 5 years can equate to a fairly good amount of money in 5 years down the road. This does not have to be any way, shape, or form, even a part-time job. And probably what you'll naturally do, whether you like it or not, or try to.
Right. Absolutely. So let's do this before we conclude today's meeting. I'm going to do 2 follow-up meetings. You guys are all welcome to join us. The first one is going to be a kind of a show and tell mastermind. Here's what I designed. Here's what my business plan ended up looking like. I want to do something like that. In fact, it might end up being several smaller meetings, just so we can actually have time to do some show and tell types things. And the reason that we want to make sure that we tell somebody about them is because of the accountability, right? And saying, look, this is what I designed. This is what I'm going after. Please hold me accountable. Let's touch base every quarter to make sure we're on track. Okay, we'll do one of those. And then we'll do a separate business planning that is designed a little bit more around attraction / recruiting / whatever you want to call it, where I can lay out some really good fundamentals. I've already created the slide deck for it and everything. Basically, attraction basics for everybody. I'll give my 2 cents. We'll have Carrie, we'll have Jay, we'll have Matt, we'll have whoever that's on the call that wants to add to that. We certainly can. We'll do that in the second week of January, only because we're kind of running out of time for the rest of this year. But make your business make sense for your life, okay? And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't design your life around your business, okay? All right, that's going to do it for us today. Again, my name is Randy Wooters. If anybody wants any one-on-one, please let me know.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for being on the webinar today. I really hope that you learned a ton and that you're able to implement it in your business. Guys, have a great day, and remember, visit randyexplains.com.